Amazing Grace, the traditional salute to fallen firemen, played by the Scottish volunteer bagpipers. The Star-Spangled Banner here in Europe, performed by Barbara Tucker of Brooklyn, New York.
It is my honor to truly be here to represent American and humans. May we all, in our hearts and through our voice, let the spirit of love ring through as I sing.
Those are just a few examples of the special ceremonies that have been created here at Euro Speedway by the promoter and the German race fans to show respect for the tragedy in the United States. And they too provided these red, white, and blue ribbons to all of the teams. And as soon as they were made available, fans came from everywhere wanting to wear these ribbons as a show of solidarity with the United States. The great overlying question here, though, is the emotional condition of these teams and drivers, the psychological effect of this great tragedy.
No other sport requires the intense concentration for the duration of time that motor racing does. Every driver at some point in his career has driven knowing that a fellow competitor has either been seriously injured or worse, or under the most terrible weather and track conditions. Today, these drivers have to remain focused. That's their job. But for one competitor in the field, Michael Andretti, he was back in the States when the terrorist attacks occurred. Today, for Michael Andretti, he faces an enormous challenge to maintain focus and to maintain that concentration over 500 kilometers of racing.
It's been an unbelievable last few days. You know, it's a minor problem, really, when you think about the scope of things going on. But you know, we went through a lot of hard work to get over here, and to finally get here was good. You know, it was a bit of a relief. You know, I'm here with the Carp family, and I'm here to do my job if I'm called to do it, and you know, that's a bit of a relief. But again, it's a very small thing though compared to everything that's happening.
For Michael Andretti and the other drivers, it may be easy. For the teams, it may be something else. Lap 2, the car's rolling. This is a lap of remembrance. Gary Gerald.
Well, another in a continuing series of moving and emotional moments. You look down this line, the team standing shoulder to shoulder in their solidarity, the flags waving. You've seen the flowers, you've seen the looks on the faces of the crew members. To a man, they would tell you they don't want to be here. They want to be home. They want to be with their families, but they know that that's not possible at this time. But now as they pay tribute to their drivers and they get ready to go racing, they know that for the next couple of hours, they'll do their best to put aside the concerns, the apprehensions, all the fears, the distractions, and they'll try to go about business as usual, as difficult as that may be for each and every one of us.
Now look here on our onboard camera on Dixon's car. That is the ribbon that everyone is wearing at the track, but also has been attached by way of decal to remember the tragedies of September 11th. Kenny Brack still leading, 62 laps complete for the leader. Brack followed by Carpentier and Andretti. Beginning to talk with one another. Once again, on a number of these cars, entirely different livery than you would normally see. Livery, the fancy word for paint job.
Absolutely. We talked about the Mo Nunn cars.
Oh, look at
Tony
John.
John goes through.
Oh.
Because he's got no limits on the side. very few sponsorship. We also mentioned the Penske's at the beginning of the show. Just a first-class organization, as Mo Nunn is. And then, of course, there's Derek Walker, Turner Takagi's car. Absolutely bare of commercial sponsorship, except for the American flag. There is an American flag displayed on the side pod, the only decal on the entire car.
In the case of Penske, they already had some of the sponsorship off the car, but then they asked other sponsors, could we remove as much as we can? And I think a lot of that inspired here, interestingly enough, by the example set by Ferrari, who said they were removing all of their commercial sponsors for the car, considering the tragedy in the United States.
Well, you know, Paul, as well as I do, how heavily this weighed on the hearts of everyone here. The crews here, they are the backbone of this organization. They're the guys that get the least amount of recognition. They work the longest hours for the least amount of money. And these guys were just overcome all week long. And I think anything they could do to show support for home, including spending late hours last night pulling decals off cars, they'll do anything. They want to be home. They can't be there, as we all know. And racing is what they do and what they know. But it's amazing, the class and the strength and the ability of these crews. And it's just heart-touching.
Tony Kanaan coming up to work on Kenny Brack now. Remember, led 40 laps in Japan. You know, it's interesting because all of us, I think, said, let's just get racing. Because I don't think anybody is sleeping here. Everyone is watching television constantly to find out what the latest news is. It takes sometimes a great deal of time to call home and reach someone, especially if they're in the Northeast United States. And so there was some belief that everyone would become a little more relaxed and some tension would go away once this race got going. I'm certainly feeling that for the moment, but the exhaustion is still very much here for everyone. Nothing, of course, compared to what's going on in the United States, though. We can only guess.
Dario, how much of a relief was it to be able to go racing and business as usual and forget, at least for a short time, the distractions of the world?
It was fantastic. For me personally, to get in the car, do what I do best, you know, and do what I can to memorialize the victims of what happened in New York and Washington. Just do what I can do in my own way to say, you know, we're thinking about you.
Thank you, Dario.
Thank you.
Kenny Brack, it's difficult to celebrate a victory when you've had such an unfortunate accident that has ended this race, but tell me about your emotions and how this day went, at least up until that hit and brought out the yellow flag that effectively ended the race.
Well, I mean, we were up there all the race. We didn't have the fastest car. I think both Zanardi and Kanaan was a little better. We were better on fuel mileage, but it's good for me and for the team to get the victory here. But it's in light of recent happenings, both in the United States and here, it's put a big dampening on everything. And I hope Zanardi and the play guy is okay, and I really hope everything else will be okay too. So,
Max, after the emotions of this week and now an accident like this, it's hard to put a handle or a perspective on a day like this. Can you share some of your thoughts?
It's very difficult, you know. The emotions of the good result for Team Lear are completely overshadowed by what happened with my friend Alex and you know, with what happened in the United States. You know, I really don't know what to say. I pray God that you know, that the good wins over the bad situation. And this is a sport event. We are, you know, showing people that with a goodwill you can achieve great goals in your life, and that's what Alex and all the people that they are successful always think about. So I pray for my friend Alex. This is the most important things, and you know, for all the people in the United States, that you know, God take care of them. Thanks.
Thank you, Max.
It was clearly and well said by Max Papis. In fact, in many ways, the goal of the day was to show goodwill to the German people who came out to the track here today. So Brack is the winner and led the most laps. Papis a second, Carpentier third.